folks, this is Didier. We are Friday and I'm in Paris, beautiful Paris, at the end of this summer. I hope you had some time to spend with your family or your loved ones and spend some time to have some vacation or at least downtime. I did, as you know, I spent almost 2 weeks back in the Pyrenees, where I come from, and that's always a good time. First of all, to be in a mountain, to be with the family, and to enjoy, of course, good food, good wine. What else do we need in life, right? Anyway, being serious, we you probably have seen that we have the new version of the wallet, as promised by the end of August. We have new features. Please go and check on the store to download the update of the app. Don't hesitate to come back to us with all your comments. There are many things we can improve. We're working on that, of course, as you can see on the roadmap. But the important point is that we deliver on what we told you we will, and we'll keep doing that. So back from vacation, I feel very energetic and ready to tackle this end of Q3 and Q4 and prepare a fantastic 2019 for you and the Pixio nodes. So a few news from everywhere we are. First of all, Japan, where we can officially announce that we've been selected by the city of Tokyo to participate to their FinTech bootcamp. That's going to start October 1st, and that will allow us to follow up from the plug and play FinTech where we were until in a week or something like that. We will follow up with plug and play in the more with our insurance wallet. In the same Q4 2018. So we'll have in parallel the city of Tokyo FinTech and then the plug and play. We will also learn from Fujitsu if we are selected for their accelerator, which is a longer program starting end of the year. So we are in Japan for a little bit of time, and that's great because things are doing extremely well. We have been selected now by Visa Japan to join their challenge called Challenge Visa Everywhere. Very interesting. We'll talk about that a little bit probably next week or the week after when we go to the final. But it's as you know, we already have some quite good advanced contact with Visa in the Gulf, and I will tell you about another contact with Visa, promising contact. So Visa is obviously looking for partners like us to move on in terms of technology. That's very exciting for us. We of course, I'm leaving for Japan Monday night from Paris, and we'll stay there for 10 days. And during these 10 days, I already have 15 appointments that Bruno prepared. So with MUFG, with Mitsumoto, Nikon Express, Fujitsu, etc. All the contacts we had and a few more. And I will tell you that about that next Sunday, where we stand with all of these. But it's progressing very well. Thanks to the work of Bruno, we have contact now with regulatory bodies also in some big body of government. I don't remember, the Ministry of Industry, I think, because they're the regulator for personal data. And we're also organizing a FinTech meetup in Tokyo. Not this coming week, but the week after. So a lot of things happening there. Very exciting. I'm very pleased that we invest that time and energy in Japan starting beginning of this year, and now it's paying off. And we haven't signed any large contracts yet, but we really progressing slowly and surely. You know, Japanese are very careful people. Their perfection is their motto, and so they're very careful. They progress one step at a time, and I think they really value what we're proposing and the fact that we had great partners in the rest of the world. I'm also going to meet Ernst & Young in Japan that would like to expand the partnership we're finalizing with EY here in Europe. They would like to consider that for Japan. So that's it for Japan. Not and keeping in Asia, in Southeast Asia, we're starting the discussion with Cardiff in Hong Kong, which cover all Southeast Asia and Japan for our insurance wallet. That's a kind of circle back to day one for us, since Cardiff was my first prospect like almost 2 years ago, and that person moved eventually to Asia, and now the market is mature to use our insurance wallet. So when I'm in Japan, we'll talk about how to set that up and pilot that in Japan. In the Gulf, we finished the RFI for the governor of Bahrain, so that's going to be sent mid next week. And we also respond to the RFP from the Dubai police that was done, I think, today. So hopefully we can get into one of these markets, a little bit different, a little bit in terms of sales process than anywhere else, but I think we have a very good chance to do something around here. Europe, let's start in Paris, since I'm in Paris. The team is growing, both in Paris and in also in Montpellier. We have quite a few arrival in the team, both as I say, both Paris and Montpellier. So in Paris we have Kevin, Marie, and Patrick, a lot of people with a lot of talents that are growing and bringing their skills and knowledge and network to Pixio, and that's because now we can demonstrate and demonstrate our project and what we intend to do, what we already realized, and we can attract really great talents, as we already had great talents, but more of them. So that's pretty exciting. We have finished the one of the BNP, the wealth management BNP MVP, and now we are ready for deployment. That should happen in the next months. We just have to finalize some legal issues. Then we should start also in Portugal the MVP for CTLM and their credit wallet. We're starting a program with BPCE, which is Banque Populaire Crédit Caisse d'Épargne, which is a very, very large institution here in France, including Natixis, which is probably known in the rest of the world. And that program should come live in November. More about that later on this month. We have a chance to the opportunity, and I'm really grateful for that opportunity to present to the Casino Group, which is a very large retailer in Europe, but also in Latin America, including Brazil, to present our retail wallet. And that's pretty exciting. That's the first time we're presenting that wallet to a big retailer, and that's the opportunity we have with Gonzague next week. And then we're almost done with the new partnership with EY that we expand now all over Europe for the distribution of the what we will call now the sort of compliance wallet. So it's everything dealing with KYC, AML, GDPR, and that wallet will be head by Anne that just joined us, and we'll make a presentation about Anne pretty soon. Also in Europe, we have, I was mentioning Visa at the beginning. We have had last week, Nordin had very good presentation to the CEO of Visa Ireland about the retail wallet again. and they're pretty excited. They asked to make a much bigger presentation. I think it's going to be next week or the week after. Um, the great thing about Ireland and Visa is that Visa process um, all the transaction, debit card transaction for Ireland for the four major banks. There's only four in all Ireland. So that would be a little bit like Bahrain. If we could put that together, that would be an extraordinary way to test a market with a lot of consistency. In the US, things are progressing pretty well, following up the few days I spent on the West Coast. I don't remember when it was, 2 or 3 weeks ago, in Portland for the Medicare conference, and with our partner PCG. Now we're working, and we already signed a first step of agreements yesterday to start the adaptation of our healthcare wallet for the Medicare eligibility process. It's a very, very costly and complex process for Medicare. Medicare is a huge part of the insurance business health insurance business in the U.S. And we do have had some strong interest from states, because that's run by states, when I was there, and now we're following up with PCG and their group there. So that's very exciting for us. It's one of the first major progress in the U.S. since quite a while. We also had the opportunity to present to Hartford Insurance, very large insurance company, global insurance, not health insurance, in Connecticut, and so they're trying to get us into a sort of same thing, some kind of accelerator around our insurance wallet. So I think and there is, I know somebody mentioned the OECD Congress about blockchain next week, and Gonzague will be there, of course, and I think he will manage to be a speaker there, so we'll know better there, but at least he will be present, so PikcioChain will be part of the OECD. Very important because it's around e-government, and as you know, that's what we present in Bahrain. So all of that and you can hear probably more than before the what about or kind of way to present wallets by verticals, and that's our strategy. We do have several like that. If you know better the KYC, the one that the token sale wallet that will eventually be in full speed by the end of October. The compliance, that means the KYC kind of RegTech wallet that we're selling to banks like BNP, etc. But we also in the back, we're working on several other wallets. You heard about the retail wallet, you heard about the healthcare wallet, and the insurance wallet, which are the three major ones that we developed with expert on the back, all based on the same kind of process where you need to combine identification of individuals, certification, authentication of the documents through different credential process, all of that, delivering certificate that can be checked on the chain, etc. This is something you're very familiar with, but we adapt per vertical because the needs are a bit different, and that's slowly how you can see now. Will take time to explain that more and more. The strategy as the PikcioChain as a platform, and then the wallet running as the apps on it, with hopefully some very strong partners. We already have now EY as a partner for the RegTech wallet. We could have Visa potentially, but take it potentially as a partner for the retail wallet. We would have some others, or looking for some others for the healthcare wallet, etc. So that's the way we process and progress. So that's it for today. Thanks a lot for your support again. Thanks a lot for your patience. I know I've been away for at least 10 days, if not 2 weeks, so sorry about that. And I will catch up with you probably not this coming Sunday, but the Sunday after from Tokyo this time. Thank you and take care. Bye-bye.